Round 1. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 165th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net and our best mates over at Audio Technica. I am your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan8bit, and we have got a jam-packed episode today of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We're going to be talking Cyberpunk 2077, the latest Nintendo Direct, the latest streamer to do dumb shit on the internet yet again, and also a heap more other bits of news and reviews in between. But before we get started on that, I need to introduce my two lovely co-hosts. They are my two furry best friends. You can find them at Salim TD and at Miss Ellie Hart collectively. Salim, Miss Ellie Hart, how's doing this Sunday morning / Saturday afternoon?
Doing good, thank you. How about yourself?
Doing good. It's been a hot minute, so apologies, listeners. It has been a little while. Life and everything else has been coming at us thick and fast, so sorry for a bit of the radio silence, but we are back. Bigger and better than ever, I think. But we'll see how this episode goes. Dreamo, how you doing, man? You're looking the goods.
Thank you very much. I'm not feeling the goods today. However, I did have a fantastic day yesterday, watching the glorious GWS Giants win against none other than Jack Cruz's team, the Western Bulldogs.
Can I say convincingly winning as well? Like, they put them to the sword early.
Yes. Yeah. There was a goal scored by the Bulldogs in the first, 12 seconds of the game. And my heart sank immediately because they absolutely nailed us 3 weeks ago at home. They fucking killed us at home. We didn't score for 2 quarters. And so to win yesterday and win in an elimination final was
huzzah!
Was fantastic. Anyway, well done to the Bulldogs. Sorry to Jack Cruz, who was on a 10-hour bus to come up and then watch that, and then had to go on a 10-hour bus back.
Like, that is risky, isn't it? Like, that bus ride could have been the best bus ride ever going back, but otherwise it'd probably be they're listening to breakup songs on the radio, everyone's somber. Total respect to every Bulldog who came up from Melbourne, because you're right. It's a huge thing to do, and they did. They came and they backed their team. Good on them.
Yeah.
So anyway, next week we play Brisbane. At the Gabba in Queensland. So I'm looking forward to that.
Gabbas. Yeah. Just down the road from my house. Well, not really down the road, but close enough. Closer than your house.
Yeah, we'll go out and see it. Anyway, no one is listening to me talk about AFL, but I just want everyone to know I'm very dusty because of all the events that transpired yesterday.
We need to set the scene. We know that that Dreamo is quite fashionable on these podcasts, and this morning I forgot that it was the AFL Grand Final last night. I actually thought he went to some type of final. Sorry, yep. It's that other football code that I don't really follow, so bear with me. But yeah, he has rocked up to the podcast today with his smartwatch on, no shirt, a sort of dad cap, and his headphones. He has walked straight out of the club scene in Ibiza, straight onto the podcast. There was some glow sticks getting paraded around for a hot minute, but he is looking the goods.
Keeps on smashing bottles of water.
Yeah,
that's it.
Thank you. Yes. Well, it's been a while since it's been a long winter, basically, and the weather is pretty beautiful today in Sydney. So why not wear a shirt? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Sun's out.
That's true.
Buns out. Because I don't know.
Oh God, he's not wearing pants.
Well, that'd be no pants then.
Yeah, you haven't seen the bottom half of me yet.
It's true.
I've seen it a few times though, so I know what to expect.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll just park that and move on, shall we? So it has been a hot minute as far as what we've been up to here on the pod. So who wants to sort of lead us off on what's been happening the last few weeks? Like, I got a few things to cover, but I don't really want to deep dive on many of them. I sort of maybe surface glaze across most of them. So
Well, I'm happy to go through mine first because mine's pretty much repetition. You'd think that I would have played something different, but Breath of the Wild is a foul mistress. I still haven't started the story, but I am now traveling across the map and I'm unlocking the entire map. I think I've only got 2 more places to unlock, and it's been great. Like, I have 5 hearts now, but
Is that
but,
that's not a lot?
That's not. No. It's not a lot,
For 4
and
weeks of effort. That's not a lot, right?
But hey, I am traversing like mountains with no climbing gear. I am like flying distances. I'm also finding amazing horses and then trying to freaking find a stable to put them in because I don't want them to die.
Yes.
I think I'm doing pretty good with like 5 hearts. The 5th heart
You're
only came
kind of
recently.
doing one of those playthroughs that people in Dark Souls do, where they like do like gearless runs or like whatever that class is that's just trash. That's sort of what you're doing with this Breath of the Wild session at the moment.
Unnecessarily too.
Well, I don't want to do the story. Everyone told me that like Breath of the Wild was this big open game, and everyone, like, some people didn't like how open it was, and I am loving it. The princess is in dire need of help or something or other, and everyone's telling me how glad they are that I'm back. Meanwhile, I'm just taking like National Geographic shots of all the things around me.
You're just there, mate. I've just broke this horse in. Now I'm going to cook a meal. Now I'm going to go find some more horses and get some more of those seeds.
Yeah, now I'm just going to fly across the map with my glider and try and find a parrot that is playing an accordion and figure out what he's about.
You end up in Newtown.
I don't know. Sometimes the people that you meet in this game. So pretty much I've been playing that. Although I did play Doom on. Are we talking OG? OG Doom. Yeah. I said I was going to play it because ever since they announced that it was going to be on the Switch, I was very curious. And you know what? It plays really damn well on the Switch. It's like,
it'd feel nice, I think, on the Switch.
Yeah, it feels really, really good. I learned quickly that there was no jump button.
No, not on the OGs. It's just running and strafing and shooting.
I don't know how many times I tried to jump. It was so bad. But I remembered a lot of the secret places, so they're still in there and they're still pretty good. And they've still got the shooting assist where you pretty much you're facing forward, you're not looking up or down, but you still manage to shoot someone that's on a diagonal up above you. So, but it works really well on the Switch. I'm really surprised. So, I recommend it if anyone was thinking about it, just passing by. So yeah, play Doom on the Switch. I might get the second one.
Yeah, well, they've also confirmed, we didn't put it in the news notes, but Doom 64 is coming to the Switch soon too.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I played that one. I don't think I did.
It's not bad. Obviously, the graphics are a nice bump from the first couple, so yeah, it could be worth a look. I think just that remake of Doom on the Xbox 360 way back when was sort of the pinnacle. I think that was just nerve-shattering, just claustrophobic, true horror, which I loved about it.
So, interestingly enough, I watched a 1-hour video today. It was a video from John Romero about the development of Doom this week. Yeah, I watched it this week. It was actually really interesting. There was so much cool shit happening in that year. Let me rattle off a fun fact. They had to stop development of Doom to ship a port of... Oh, what game was it? Fuck, it was one of their games. They had to do a port of it to the Super Nintendo. They did it in 3 weeks. A full port.
That's insane.
Yeah, what game was it?
I don't know. You're the stats man.
That was a half fun fact.
It was it's kind of half a fact. I'm very slow this morning. Let me try and think of something else. I don't know. No, it was really cool. They just showed like a lot of... they showed like the demos of every version of the game in development. So basically what they were sending out to testers. And it starts off looking bare bones. Like everything's super solid. Like all the tiles and textures hadn't quite been developed yet. The walls, it was like everything was quite boxed in. It's got like a super low ceiling. One of the big advancements of the game was actually to increase the height of the ceiling. To give it a more open feel. It was actually really cool to watch. I'm trying to find the game now. Sorry.
Did the game look like, remember the old Windows maze? Remember the screensaver on Windows? That was a maze?
Yeah.
Did it look like that?
Yeah, it does. It looks exactly like that.
Fuck, I love that screensaver.
Very 2D. The game was Wolfenstein 3D that they had to ship in 3 weeks. They did this, and also John Romero's got the longest hair I've ever seen on any man in my life.
Someone took a photo with him recently, and he still just looks like him. Like just age that much.
It's just his face. His hair's glorious, but his face withers. Is what happens. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
that's
that
okay.
was me.
That's okay.
That was.
So I'll sort of rattle off a couple of quick ones here, real quick. So done a few more playthroughs of Medan.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, did a bit of a preview piece a couple of weeks back, and sort of now coming back with a pseudo review / wrap up. And after some launch day patch sort of implementations of the game, it was buttery smooth. Those sort of jitters and sort of lags and sort of tears that I was talking about on the previous episode seem to have all been subsided, so that's really good. All the voice acting stayed synchronized to the character, which was fantastic. So I still think it falls slightly short of Until Dawn from a pure gaming experience and even just the story, because it is it is a shorter game, and it's obviously it's priced accordingly. It's only like $30 brand new from JB, so you aren't getting a deeper dive than you would with Until Dawn, which was about an 8-hour-ish playthrough if I remember correctly. But it's still well worth some investment, like $30. The replayability, whether it be couch co-op, where you and a handful of mates can take a character each and see if you can survive hardships on this sea vessel, or playing online with friends, I think it's really great. But yeah, it's good. The jump scares are great. Trying to make sure your crew is going to survive through all these, ghost ship related dramas is always fun. The writing is pretty cool, and obviously it sets up things nicely for these future games in this anthology series that Supermassive are putting together now. And the fact that it's not just a Sony exclusive is great. Playing on any console or even PC is fantastic. But yeah, Medan, I'd say after those patches, like I know I threw like a very hot takey 7.5 at it. I'd probably put it about an 8 now. So, I think it's worthy of your time, and for $30, you could do a lot worse.
Yeah.
And anyone that likes... Sorry, Ali?
Oh, I was just going to say, would you say that they're back on track in regards to that genre? Because I remember you said the Asylum one was really bad. And
yeah, definitely. Like the Inpatient, it was so weird because the Inpatient, like it was, you played 2 different games, it felt like this was the PSVR Sony exclusive. The first half of that game, I haven't felt that kind of fear in many games over the years, and especially in VR. But then the second half of it just sort of fell off the rails. But this is definitely a more tighter experience, more focused experience. And Supermassive, if this is sort of what we can expect moving into the future with these other releases, then I'm feeling pretty excited what they do with this Dark Pictures anthology that they're putting together. So yeah, I got my fingers crossed for the next experience. I don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, they've done sort of the haunted house out in the snow-capped mountains. Now they've done a sea experience. Maybe there's going to be something in the jungle next, or the desert. Maybe they'll go like Mummy style. Who knows?
oh yeah, that could work.
Which I wouldn't be upset about.
No, just the claustrophobia. Hopefully, you're not in a pyramid.
Yeah. So yeah, give that a look. As I said, $30. That is pretty cheap, I think, for today's standards. For especially, I'd say it's on the fringe of that AAA type of polish. Obviously, it's a shorter game, but the teamwork and the replayability aspects of it certainly lend itself to repeated performances. Another one that I finished over the past couple of weeks is Control, which is the new game from Remedy, who obviously in years past were a Microsoft house with the Alan Wake series. It's really, really fun. Like, I know I said briefly on the previous episode, it's got a real X-Files vibe. Like, picture X-Files and Twin Peaks having a baby, and that's sort of what this game is and how it sort of plays like. It's very, very sort of sci-fi, atmospheric. The writing's pretty on point. Like it wouldn't look out of place as like a show on Netflix or something if you sort of pace this out just the way it's put together. The combat's great. The abilities you get are pretty cool. Jumping into these 2 different sort of universes is fantastic. The graphics are really good. The animation is top notch. I haven't noticed any sort of frame rate dips or sort of tears or bleeds or anything like that. The rendering's always on point. But I'm loving it. Like, it's just been a good game to sort of just get lost in, because you are just cruising around this pseudo FBI building that's been taken over by this hiss demon thing that you're trying to sort of cleanse, and it's just it's very obscure, and it's been a bit of a surprise hit for me. Like probably 8.5 if we're going to sort of shoot from the hip on a score, 8.5 out of 10, I'd say, and I think that's pretty well online, or maybe even a little bit less than what some of the other outlets have been parading it around as. Like it's a great game, and it's certainly in talks as one of the better games released this year so far. But yeah, tight combat, great story, great voice acting, and anyone that likes that sort of science fiction-y secret conspiracy government type of thing, like as I said, X-Files, Twin Peaks, Fringe, all that kind of stuff, if you're a fan of that type of genre, I think you'd be right at home with Control.
Okay, that is definitely one that it got a lot of like talk on social media, but I did see that there was people that absolutely loved it, and then there's other people that were kind of like, kind of missed the mark for them. So I don't know, maybe it's something to do with the gameplay, or maybe even the environment that maybe didn't click for certain people. But
yeah. like the environments are pretty sort of repetitive. Like you do get a few different areas, like you go into like the sewers of this building, and it's a little bit more closed in, more claustrophobic, and some of the environmental elements change with the subsequent introduction of new enemies. So you do get a little bit of a different flavor, but it is pretty similar throughout the majority of the game until you go into this sort of dreamscape area as well. But overall, I'm digging it. Dreamo, are you a fan? Like, are you an X-Files fan, Twin Peaks, any of that kind of science fiction-y secret government stuff?
Yeah, man, I love all the strange. I've never actually really sat down and watched X-Files, but I have watched Twin Peaks, and I am a fan. But this as a game never really, like, I don't know, like space games and science fiction games, there's not really too many that really stand out to me, and like, they're just, I don't know, they're not my thing. Like, I think back to even playing games like Half-Life, where it's a great game, but I don't know. To me, it was just a chore where you're running around with a crowbar, hitting things, jumping at your head. Anyway, yeah, so no, to answer your question, not really, but my ears are pricking up a bit more hearing your positive praise of this game. To call it one of the better games to come out this year, that's pretty, it's pretty
big call.
Yeah, like a bit of a sleeper hit, I think. Like, I don't think many people were expecting it to be as great as it is, just from sort of general reading of the tea leaves out in the social medias and the respective gaming outlets. But it's been praised very highly, and I think rightfully so. And it's scratched a good itch. Like, after going from Medan, which was a short banger, which was choose your own adventure, having something that's a little bit more Rails based, but with source material that I really love, like that science fiction-y government sort of conspiracy type of vibe. It's just tickling my pickle, that's for sure. And can I ask, have you guys been on the Pokémon Masters train?
No.
Are you on this train? Is that,
mate? I am all aboard. I'm crossed several stations now. Like, I'm the conductor.
Fuck off.
It feels like.
Really?
Yeah.
I just think back to like 3 weeks ago, where we were just basically teasing NATO for no good reason about this game.
I apologize, NATO. Like, I am all about it. I haven't really done any of the co-op yet. I've just been sort of doing the single player campaign and all that. But my team, I've got 3 pretty gangster sort of trainer Pokemon combinations now. They're all above level 60 each. So I've sort of locked in a team where I've got 2 sort of pseudo support tanks and then just 1 pure DPS. And I'm just sort of wrecking shop for the most part.
Can you reveal who your combination is?
Yeah, so I've got Karen and Houndoom, and then I have Phoebe and Dusclops, and then Rosa and Superior. So I've evolved the Superior, like done 2 evolutions to get it to sort of the final evolution there. Superior.
What is Superior?
It's like a like it ends up looking like a grass snake.
Yeah. I know the one.
Yeah. So Rosie you get through just the mainline story, as you get a few you get a fair amount of Pokemon trainers to come with you through the mainline story. But I've got Phoebe and Karen out of sort of redeeming the gems and rolling the dice on the in the shop in the Sync Pair Scout as they do, and you drop your little almost Pokemon phone into the dock and sort of sync it up. But I've got an absolute bucket load of trainers in my sync pairs. I've got 52 of them, 52 different ones at the moment to utilize, but I've just locked in on those 3 because they synergize the best. And I've got me through. I'm probably about 2 Pokemon trainers away in the mainline story to finish. So I've just sort of hit a bit of a brick wall where I've got this one guy who just seems to be probably 5 levels higher than me. So I'm just grinding at the moment, which can be a bit of a fucking pain in the ass, to tell you the truth. But it's a good snap game.
Yeah, right.
It's a good snap game. Have I dropped $15 on it? Yes, I have. But you know what? That one-click purchase on Android is a slippery slope.
What does that get you in the game? What are the in-game purchases?
It got me a heap of gems. Like, obviously, when the game came out, they're like, oh, you know, single one-off promotion only. Get 10 trainers and guarantee one of them to be a 5-star rating for 3,000 gems. So that translated to about $15 or whatever it was. So I bought that. Got an assortment. Got Karen and Houndoom out of that, and then the rest of it's just been grinding. So yeah, I'm pretty content. I've got a makeup that I'm going to push through and see how it goes. Translates to co-op when me and maybe Nato, if he's still not angry at us for publicly shaming him about this game that I'm now all about.
And rightly so.
Yeah. But it's good fun. It's good fun. Like good distraction, good Pokemon battling. The story I skip over for the most part because there's just so many like random missions in between the main battles where it's just back and forth banter that you don't really care about. Like you get to pick a couple of dialogue options, but it means nothing, changes nothing. So it's just skip. But it's cool. It's cool. I think they've done well. I don't know how it's going numbers wise, but it's certainly worth a look. And something that I wanted to play but didn't get a chance to, I installed it the other day. Gears 5, obviously out now, especially if you're an Xbox Game Pass user.
Oh, yeah.
Get on it, download it because it's included in there. It's getting some pretty high praise so far. There were some sort of launch day bugs with DCs and what have you, especially sort of doing anything online based. But from what I'm hearing, the storyline, the single player storyline is really tight, really focused, and really well executed. So next week I'll be able to add some more sort of flavor to that because at the moment all I've done is installed the 60 gig worth of game, but I'm keen to get into that today. You guys going to get on Gears 5?
No.
I want to.
Yeah.
Still in the dark ages.
You still got Game Pass,
over here.
don't you?
I do, but I'm in the dark ages. I still don't have internet.
True. That's true. Well, once you get down in California way some of that internet, you'll be right, and we can jump on, play together.
No,
play
definitely.
some Horde mode.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
And I also went and watched It Chapter 2 last night.
How is it?
Great.
It is?
Really, really nice wrap up of this story. Very, very true to the books. So, or the books, sorry. Anyone that's read the original sort of book by Stephen King will feel pretty well right at home with what they've delivered in Chapter 2. It's sort of a little bit lighter in parts and a little bit sort of almost like, well, you wouldn't say true horror comedy, but there is some comedic elements in there, but that is very much how the book goes. So even though it might feel a little bit like on screen at times when they are sort of forcing a couple of jokes, it sort of lines up with how the book was written. Okay. So it's good that he stayed true to that, but they probably could have waved a little bit of that off. But like Bill Hader in this fucking crushes it. He steals the show in Chapter 2, and like they've got a pretty powerful cast. They've got him, they've got James McAvoy's on there, and they've got what's the lady's name that I'm having a mental blank now? Redheaded lady.
I have no idea her name.
Goodness.
I know like of her face, I've got no idea who and what her name is. And
yeah,
all I can say is that I know that Xavier is in it, so Dr. Xavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only person I know is Bill Hader.
Yeah, and he crushes it in it, man. Like, he is so good.
He's
like,
super talented.
Yeah, like, you sort of forget what sort of, like, depth and acting chops he actually has, because you're so used to just that lighthearted, just comedic styling. But seeing that, and what was that show he's on at the moment where he's
Barry?
like an ex-hitman?
Barry?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great show.
Yeah, very underrated, very well worth a watch, Barry. But yeah, he sort of steals every scene he's in just about in it Chapter 2. Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise, is brilliant. Like, everyone loved Tim Curry's iteration of him in the series way back when, but Bill Skarsgård is just fucking next level with Pennywise, and it is eerie, and there is a lot of jump scares mixed in with a couple of laughs. But yeah, it's really well done. I enjoyed how they sort of close this off. It goes for nearly 3 hours, but it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't overstay its welcome, even though it is a 3-hour movie nearly. But well worth a watch if you enjoyed Chapter 1, which I think is probably slightly better. But Chapter 2 is a good sort of finishing point for that franchise.
There's a few good horror movies out at the moment, actually. So I'm going to have to start going to the cinema and watching them all. But I'm glad that it was good. I've read there's a few mixed reviews about it. Some people didn't appreciate the way it was kind of wrapped up. Some people didn't like the ending. But I think it's just going to be all to everyone's preference. So I'll still watch it regardless. I like the first one.
Yeah. What about you, Dreamo? I know you're sort of one of our resident film buffs in the 8-Bit Collective.
I haven't seen it yet. I really want to see it. Yeah, I did like the first one, and I didn't get to see it in the cinemas either. So I kicked myself afterwards for not making a point of going to see it. So I've also not read the book and haven't seen the prequel. Like, not the prequel, but the original film.
The original, yeah. I'm exactly the same. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with the OG yet.
You're
so this is like...
Oh, sorry, Ali.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say I don't have that, confliction that a lot of people have and saying that they, enjoyed the original or this one. So it's like, no, I like this one. It's good. It's easy.
Yeah. And I always consider you, Brendan, to sort of be the canary in the coal mine on a lot of these horror films. If it gets your thumbs up, then I think it's always worth a watch. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to go and see it now.
Yeah, it's really well done. Yeah, the original, like we rewatched the original with Tim Curry just after Chapter 1 came out, and it really doesn't stack up. Like,
right,
you got those nostalgic memories of it when you were watching it younger, but watching it now, it's so comedic. Like, not even intentionally trying to be comedic. It's just like the acting and the writing's that cheesy that you sort of laugh. So yeah, don't fear that you need to go watch the original. But yeah, this is really, really well done, and the acting's top notch. Some really gory moments too, which is always good in a good horror, especially when you've got fucking psychotic killer clowns after you.
Mm-hmm.
Dreamo, what have you been doing,
mate? I've actually finished, like, my greatest achievement this year possibly is actually finishing one of my snap games, Final Fantasy Tactics. It is
okay.
It's not an easy game to finish. There's so many points in the game where if you don't have a previous, like in this game, if you don't have a previous save for like 2 saves ago, like, you're fucked. There are some maps you're just locked into where it's so hard, and it's impossible with some loadouts as well. Like, if you haven't gotten the right skills or equipment to enter into that particular battle, then you lose always. It's actually tough. There's a lot of grinding involved as well. That said, I finished it. So I'm super happy, but also I can't believe I finished it. It was such a weird end to the game. It's a tactics game. So you have an army, you move them around a battlefield, you fight other people, and then whoever wins. How do I explain this? Like, the hardest parts of the game are actually in the center of the game, and also all of the really interesting story points are also in the center of the game. The ending just kind of happens abruptly. The final maps aren't as challenging as some of the things the game puts you through in the center. The game also gives you access to like this super broken class. So it's super interesting as well. I've never really seen anything like it in any other game. It's called an arithmetic, right?
Okay.
And the way this class works is... it's bullshit. It's so broken. So the way this class works is you have to do 2 things. The first is you pick a stat. And then the second thing is you pick a divisible number. So it's either 3, 4, 5 or a prime. So I know that sounds confusing, but just as an example, right? You can select like experience, right? So every character on the board, all their experiences get looked at. And then you say, I want to just pick anyone who's got experience that's divisible by 5. So it means if you've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, that's in your experience bar at that moment, you become a target. So So you get all of these targets. You can cast from anywhere on the map, so there's no restriction on how far away you are. And it's instant and it's free. So you can cast, like, Holy is one of the most damaging spells in the game, right? Typically, you can only cast it once. There's like a wait time of 5 turns, thereabouts. And it costs mana. You can cast like 6 Holies instantly for no mana, straight away, anywhere on the battlefield, if you just find the right stat and find the right divisible number. I hope that made sense. I know it's kind of hard to...
So you've kind of found a bit of a loophole almost with how you built this team.
The game does it for you. Like, the game gives you access to this class, right? So it's
a bit of a game breaker. That class,
fucking huge game breaker. Like, if I didn't have this guy, I wouldn't have finished the game. But because I have this guy, I steamrolled through like the last third. It was actually pretty incredible. Anyway, so I finished it. It's over. It's an odd story as well. It's a story about sort of a toppling of the sort of the elite class in a really Shakespearean medieval fantasy. It's a tragedy. Like, the story is a tragedy, and it's really open ended as well. The ending. So much so that I couldn't actually work out what the fuck happened. Like, this game, I was looking into it. This game famously has the initial translations, the initial English translations made no sense at all, because they were trying to translate a game in Shakespearean English that no one understood, and there were plenty of things wrong, like with the translation. The people who did it just didn't give a shit. And so for a long time, there was like a lot before the internet as well, like not really before, but the game came out in 1997. So no one knew what the fuck was going on in this game. They just knew that it was a tactics game with like great battle system.
It sounds like that uncertainty and confusion is still ripe today, 22 years later.
Well, the new translations in War of the Lions, which is the version I played, it's a lot better. And I definitely followed the whole way through. It's just that the main... Yeah, like, arguably the main villain, you never fight them. And they survive you as well. Not to probably just spoil a game that's 20-something years old now, but they survive you in the game. Like, so I think ultimately you do die and this guy lives on. And it's super weird because you expect the final battle with this guy the whole way. Like, especially in Final Fantasy game. Like, I've played every other Final Fantasy game. Like, it's how it always works. The villain comes out of nowhere. You never expect who it is, but at the same time, you're like, oh, that guy's definitely the villain. You never really fight them until the last moment. When you do, it's this huge fucking 5-part battle, which ascends into the heavens, and they transform into like this angelic figure who's actually... Like, that's kind of how it always goes in this game. It just doesn't do that.
Yeah.
It just kind of... You just end up fighting... I won't go there. But anyway, great game. Really great game. Like, I actually really fucking loved this game. I just can't believe I got through it again.
How many hours would you say you invested?
I was actually going to look at my phone. So I'm playing it on my mobile, by the way. I'm playing it on the old iOS.
Yeah, you led in with the Snap game.
I think more than 50.
Okay.
More than, I think.
That's a good investment. Hours. Like, how much that game cost you?
$12.
Mate,
$12
that is,
on iOS.
You are practically making money.
Yeah, no, it's actually really good. The problem is it is really unforgiving in that there's permadeath. So if your guys go down in a battle and you don't revive them within 3 turns, they just die. And
they're gone.
Yeah, and so you find yourself in these situations where you could be ahead in a map. And by the way, like revive spells, like raise, revive in the game, they're not guaranteed. So even if you cast it, it's not guaranteed to actually work. So you find yourself in these situations where like one of your best guys you've just been training forever goes down, and then you can't revive them in time, then they die, and you might be winning the battle, but because they're dead, like if you win this thing and go forward, you go forward without them. So you almost like you definitely go back and start
reboot a save and things like that.
There was like a point in the game where I just couldn't get further because I just couldn't beat this one boss, and so I literally fought in one map. Like, it's all I had access to, like this random encounter, this one zone where I could trigger a random encounter. I must have done like 15 random encounters just to get my guys kind of strong enough to take on this boss. And I haven't grinded like that unnecessary, boring grind. I haven't done that in so long. So this was something. Yeah,
I'm there doing that on Pokemon Masters. God damn these snap games!
Man, I want to play this game now. Like you're talking me into it a little bit. I did download it.
I haven't looked at if it is cross-platform as far as like iOS and Android. I don't know if that is the case. Hopefully it could be, because then we could jump on and co-op battle together. But otherwise, there's still enough there that you'll take some good enjoyment out of it if you're just solo playing anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, that's me. That's really me. Church in the Darkness TBA to come.
The most anticipated release on Salim's calendar.
Keeping you guys waiting. No, I haven't actually touched it, and I'm looking forward to it. I just haven't had time to sit down and play it. You know what has happened to me though? Funny story. My neighbor, really nice guy, really good friend of mine, loves Battlefield, absolutely loves it.
Okay.
But he doesn't have a computer, and so it started like a few weeks ago, like maybe more than a month ago. He's like, do you reckon you could download Battlefield on your computer and I can just maybe come around and play it? I was like...
That's not weird at all.
I was like, okay. So we tried it. It failed. He was trying to download Battlefield 4, like one of the older ones. And it didn't work. So then he was like, try to get me to do some hardware upgrades on my PC. Like to increase like the memory size, get a solid state hard drive in there so that he can download it on the hard drive. And maybe that'll fix it. Anyway, he ended up just buying Battlefield 1, downloaded that on my PC, and has just started playing it and just started like messaging me when I'm out. And he's like, hey, dude, you mind if I just go over and play a couple of games? So the other night, I come home at 12:30, right? He's on my computer playing Battlefield. He's got a girl on my bed asleep. Oh my God. Having watched him play Battlefield. And her shoes were on my bed.
Messy bitch.
I just came home. I was like, what the fuck is going on in my room right now? So anyway, my friend is now like just helping himself to coming over and playing Battlefield on my computer.
Yeah, he's just nesting in your room. Like, you should put a camera in there to see what kind of antics he gets up to. Like,
I sent him a message the other day. I said, hey, new rule, you have to message me before you break into my house and play Battlefield. And he was like, whoa, what's with all the attitude?
It's like, it ain't breaking in. I went and got a key cut, mate.
What's with all the hostility and rules? No, I love this guy. He's one of my best mates, but still, it's, not on.
Tell him to maybe also leave behind the incapacitated bodies as well. Like the fact that you walked in and not only was he just playing on your PC late at night, but then there was just a passed out girl on your bed at the same time.
You know what that is though? He's like a super handsome guy, right? He's my age, super handsome guy, like kind of guy all his life, no problem with women his whole time. And like when I came in and saw that shit, I was actually really mad. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm out here hustling hard to fucking get any looks, and you've just got a random person happy to watch you in a stranger's house playing a fucking video game asleep.
It's so
you've got
weird.
You've got a right to be mad. Technically, he brought a woman into your bed that you didn't do.
Yeah.
That I didn't bring. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No.
Tell him he's got a wingman you as payment or something. Like, hey, next time when I'm coming home, make sure she's got a friend there that knows who I am, so we can at least talk and hang out while you're playing Battlefield in my room.
Yeah. Find someone who likes Pokemon cards and bring them back, and I'll play with them.
Yeah.
All right. That's me.
Such a weird setup.
That is an unexpected turn of events, but that is fantastic. I love that story. All right, so let's get into a quick bit of housekeeping, and the first thing I wanted to do was this.
iTunes review of the week.
This iTunes review comes via way of Grave Robber, and the headline reads, "Love you guys, 5 stars." So we're already on to a perfect 1-for-1 there, Grave Robber. And the review reads, Recent discovery after your artwork caught my eye. Was very happy I clicked through, as the way you talk video games is exactly what I need in my podcast life.
Yes.
Keep it up, THG! ! So Grave Robber, that sort of, we've had a few reviews here that I haven't sort of brought up for a while, so apologies about that, anyone that has been chucking iTunes reviews down. I have been slack. But it sort of warmed my heart a little bit seeing the mention of the artwork. Like, we take our branding and graphics and everything like that very seriously, so it's nice to know that that has something that has a bit of click appeal. And Grave Robber has certainly clicked on through, and now we've given exactly what he needs in his or her podcast life. So thank you for that. What do you guys reckon?
Oh, Craig's a sexy beast. So, our dinosaur. So,
yep.
I can understand that he has some kind of appeal. So I'm glad that, the artwork attracted and that the listening was good enough to stay along, I guess, for the ride.
Exactly. So, thank you, Grave Robber. Dreamo, anything you want to add before we get into the rest of this housekeeping and jump into some news?
No, just a thank you, Grave Robber. That's it.
Yeah, but as we always say, these reviews and subscriptions, they help keep those emotional lights on in our hearts. So be sure to rate, review, and subscribe us, as well as the rest of the podcast in the hashtag 8bit Collective, or just the greater podcast community as a whole that you are listening to on the daily or the weekly, because it takes a tiny little bit of time, but it means an awful lot to us, keeps us tracking, keeps us relevant, keeps us hungry to do what we do. So thank you, Grave Robber, and we'll have a few more reviews over the coming weeks to bring up. But a few other quick bits of housekeeping. PAX panels have officially been confirmed for PAX Australia down in Melbourne in the second week of October. So Party Mode will making its return for the third year running, and that will be taking place on the Saturday evening. I can't remember the time nor the venue that this is being held out of, but Nerdstradamus are coming back to see if they can three-peat this son of a bitch. Sadly, it's just me, because the rest of my team, Jason has some prior commitments, and Andrew is off sort of pretty much going to be a father then around there. So shout out to both of them for doing what they're doing. But I'll fly that Nerdstradamus flag like no tomorrow. And the Mario Tennis Invitational will be running on the Friday evening of PAX. It's a bit later. I think it's at 8:30 or 9:30. And the returning champ, yours truly, is actually going to be playing this tournament this year in doubles. And me and Jono are teaming up. So we fought each other in the grand final of the Mario Tennis Invitational. So the two champ and the runner-up is coming back to team up to take down the rest of these other content creator scum that we are going to be seeing on the courts on Friday night. So extremely excited for that. Outside of that, Comedy Rewind, the 4th episode is available now, and it is a review of American Pie, and sees Jono joined by Tom Marshall and Jack Cruz. So give that a spin. There is also a Clerks episode still out and available. Had the Bitstorm boys, Trev and Ben, on there with Jono. And also the 8-Bit Cast. The episode that is available now to all is Freestyling with us here, the Hungry Gamers, where we talk a bit of everything and anything. And that's available free to all on all podcast hosting platforms. But if you want to get in early for the latest episode, which is called The Producers, which saw Jono chatting with two of our Patreon producers, Colin and Anthony, to very, very hilarious effect, head on over to patreon.com/weare8bit to get access to that podcast and a whole heap more for the low, low price of $1 per month. And the last bit of housekeeping, weare8bit.storeenvy.com. Head on over there. That is our official web store. You can get access to a ton of merch. You can get pillows to rest your sweet head on after you're done listening to podcasts. You can get a towel to dry yourself off after a nice hot shower. And you can put some socks on for these colder evenings as we sort of move our way into spring. But let's get into some news.
This week's news headlines.
I don't know where I was going.
One thing I hate about moving out of winter into spring is that it gets colder. That's what I hate.
The colder evenings, I said, it's still cool.
No,
and you need socks on.
You can get a towel. So after you, and I'm like, after you what? What do you need the towel for that relates to us? Sorry.
Yeah, it could have went south pretty quick there, but managed to keep it somewhat on the level. But anyway, the news. We've got some quick hits. The first one, Cyberpunk 2077 will be getting multiplayer sometime after the first single-player DLC is released next year. I, for one, am extremely excited about this. This was confirmed via a bit of a Twitter Q&A with one of the main men behind Cyberpunk 27 at CD Projekt Red. If I can jump on and cyberpunk my way across the internets with yourselves together, modifying, sexing, shooting, whatever else we're going to be happening on there, I am hyped as hell for some multiplayer Cyberpunk. What do you guys think about this?
Curious to see like how you can base what the multiplayer would be like, since considering, have we really seen much of the game or have an understanding of the game? Would it be like GTA?
I think it could be a GTA Online. That would certainly probably lend itself to it more so, where you could have like a standalone world outside of that mainline story. So, or maybe there's just some shared missions you'll be able to do after the fact on the back of this DLC, where you could do almost like heists or robberies and stuff like that. I don't know.
True. Yeah. But I mean, if it does go down that like GTA Online route, then that, you know, comes with customizable characters, vehicles, and all that sort of stuff. So if they do go down that avenue, that'd be pretty cool. Hopefully. And
then it becomes the next money factory. Like, you know, when an online mode is done well, you know, the brick trucks get backed up with all that cash, and especially on customization. Like, who doesn't want to have the best bloody Tron-looking motorcycle or the best mods and everything else? Like, you know, I'd be, you know, I'll be the first one to put my hand up and say, yeah, I'll waste a bit of money on that if that's the case. That's for sure.
Freaking shark cards. I don't know if that could be true, because Red Dead Redemption Online's been out for a bit. Is it still out of its whatever they called it? Was it beta?
Yeah, it's out of its sort of beta now. It's in the full release, and we've actually got a little hit note on that. If we sort of jump down a couple and we can double back. But Red Dead Online's Specialist Roles system arrives this coming week, September the 10th, via the next big update. So that allows you to to select a subclass of Bounty Hunter, Collector, or Trader. They are sort of going to cost you 15 gold bars to take over those roles, but there is actually one available via Twitch Prime, and the other one is a PS4 exclusive that you can get access to for free as well. So on the back of those sort of class systems, you're going to have specific abilities tied just to those three classes, as well as other sort of in-game, like in-world opportunities that are tied specifically to those three classes. So, for example, the Bounty Hunter has new skills like a reinforced lasso, so people are going to have a hard time getting out of it. You've got a throwable bowler, as well as enhanced eagle eye. Traders can establish their own trading post, so you can sell things on the go or buy and sell. And then you can also procure materials through sort of resupply and hunting missions. And then the trader skills include a stew pot and lance knife. So, yeah. Who doesn't want a lance knife and a stew pot to be cooking while they're out on the great open plain? And the Collector is sort of like a treasure hunter, you could say. So you're looking for buying and selling rare goods, tarot cards, buried treasure, hidden fairy heirlooms, and the like. And you get a specific or special shovel, the Pennington Field Shovel, which is used for uncovering said buried treasure. A horse saddlebag carry upgrade limit, and the ability to collect herbs from horseback, a metal detector, a horse lantern, and more. So I like that they are sort of branching these out a little bit and giving you a little bit more variety in how you want to tackle this game. I haven't played since we played poker many months ago, but this certainly makes me go, you know what, maybe I could fire up the PS4 and get back into Red Dead and pick my subclass.
Yeah, like I don't know, like the game is great and I love being in that different environment, especially in an open online field, but like I can't say that there is any major draw when it comes to, you know, me saying I could play this game or I could play Red Dead Online, and you know it's usually the other. So yeah, I don't know why.
I certainly think this game, like a few of us are like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Let's jump on and play together. There's certainly that appeal, but I think soloing a lot of this content just sort of lacks that hook, at least for me.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think you're right.
I think it's such a differently paced game in the story mode that I just don't have any want to try and make it work in a multiplayer environment. And it's kind of cool. Like, it's a cool little Western but I don't know. I don't know. I just want to play Tekken or fucking, I don't know, Rocket League or something. Or GTA even. Like, even GTA 5 is so much more fun because it's so much faster in the online. Yeah. Like, you die and spawn, you know, in like 30-second intervals, you know. There's just rockets going all over the map. And in this, it's like, nope, I'm going to get on my horse. I'm going to go and put my horse. I'm going to tie it up. I'm going to go play some poker. Like, everything you do just takes fucking, like, forever. Even poker takes forever.
The pacing is completely different, isn't it?
It takes forever. It's fucking boring.
The old Western frontier. All right. So shifting gears. This is a bit of an exciting announcement for, you know, Australian video game development. Sledgehammer Games is opening up a studio down in Melbourne. So obviously Sledgehammer, predominantly known for working on Call of Duty titles like COD World War II, Advanced Warfare, and Modern Warfare 3. Have set up shop. They've announced their first hire. So Elena Cole is sort of jumping on. So it's exciting to see a big global powerhouse known as Sledgehammer to sort of settle here in the AU, and maybe it's going to mean a lot more work and jobs and opportunities for, you know, our talented game studios over here. Yeah,
any step in the right direction to encourage more studios out in Australia, because I definitely think we kind of in Australia we kind of fight tooth and claw in trying to establish ourselves in the, you know, greater world of gaming. So more the better.
Hell yeah. Maybe Dreamo, when you've done your course, you can go down and take a job with Sledgehammer.
Nope.
Okay. Well,
I'm good.
Don't put this on the resume.
Fuck Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Jesus.
All right. So the last quick hitter before we sort of deep dive on a couple of things. Death Stranding will have a very easy mode, which is for, in quotes, people who usually don't play games or are movie fans or RPG fans. Conversely, other difficulty modes like normal and hard are designed for action game fans. So Death Stranding with like the cinema mode, you could almost say, where it's going to be probably minimal combat, just mostly all the cutscenes with a little bit of control in between, to give you that more easy viewing experience that is happening more and more in games today. What do you guys think about this?
I'm wondering how easy is very easy. Like, will they control the walking? Like, you know how usually when it's a vast open space, like, you can walk wherever you want. Maybe very easy, they'll just only take you down the path that you have to go to follow the story.
Yeah, maybe just linear.
Yeah.
It's...
I guess it could be people that would appreciate it, but I mean, I don't even see an easy mode half the time anymore. It's usually normal or hard.
Mm.
Yeah, it's going to be maybe old Norman Reedus is just going to be on rails, and it's sort of all the movement's done, and you just get prompted, you know, press X to piss on mushroom and stuff like that, and just keep on keeping on.
Yeah. Oh, like, I mean, it's good if if it also works for accessibility as well, then that might also be a plus. But I guess we'll find out what it means.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Mm.
I was too busy trying to weave in a urination joke. So,
I missed the obvious when it came to pissing in mushroom. But carry on.
But yeah, it's like you can certainly see why they'd probably want to make this more of a viewing experience. Like, you look at the star power and the cast that they've got with this game, you know, with Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, Guillermo del Toro, and several others. So you could see why maybe they'll almost have all those cutscenes as a game with maybe a little bit of actual gameplay wedged in between, which isn't bad. You know, some people like that. Certainly not me. I'd certainly want to, you know, control my Wii stream as much as possible. So yeah, I'm not going to be playing that. I'll be playing like the normal, as I usually do on games. I'll play the first playthrough on normal. I know Dreamo loves to go like hard straight off the bat, but you know, he's just a sucker for punishment.
It's probably the number one reason why I don't finish most games.
This game's too hard. Fuck this game.
Yeah.
Well, it's either that or you stuck waiting to try and use your computer to play these games because your mate's there.
Just come on, mate. Wrap it up. You know, just look at my watch.
You're going to wake up one morning and like he'll just have like snuck in while you're sleeping and it'll be like 4 a.m. You're like, dude, what are you doing?
I'm waiting for him to like bring a mug from his house over here. Like I'm just waiting for something like that for him to like just plant a flag.
He'll sneak a little like USB powered fridge over or something like that.
No, he'll bring
fridge.
like a cot, or he'll bring like a sleeping bag and he'll just start sleeping in the room. You'll wake up and he'll be spooning you.
Yeah. Oh, God. What have I done? What have I got myself into here, folks?
You've let the devil in, mate.
Yeah, sure have.
Yeah. All right, so they're the quick hitters. So moving on to a couple of larger news pieces. Yet another big content creator says terrible things on a live stream. And this is coming via way of Kotaku. So popular Twitch streamer Tfue Twitch seemingly used a racial slur while streaming Minecraft earlier this week. Twitch has yet to take action, but if it does, this will be Tfue's third violation of Twitch policies, which is grounds for being permanently banned from the service. The Minecraft clip, isn't listed among Tfue's recent videos on Twitch, but captured by Twitter users and on Reddit showed Tfue speaking in a strange accent saying, "Y'all motherfuckers killed that N-word. Y'all can suck my pee-pee, man." And it goes into more detail on those Twitch community guidelines. And at this stage, no one has responded. Tfue or the rest of his sort of, his team have said a thing about it, and Twitch as well. So, that's 3 strikes. As per those guidelines, he should be chopped. But because he is one of the largest streamers, this is anyone that knows of Tfue. He was doing some drama with now I'm mental blanking. Yeah, with like he was a contracted FaZe streamer, had a heap of blow up there with them, and there's some background legal ramifications still occurring between Tfue and FaZe there. So he's a young dude. I think he's like 21, something like that. Got famous from Fortnite. Really good Fortnite player, and now he's dropping those racial bombs on Twitch, potentially free of any blowback. So, what do you guys think?
I think it's funny because I'm pretty certain he might have been one of the potential ninja, grave robbers that would have probably taken the limelight since he was such a prominent Fortnite player. People are trying to already make excuses for him. He said this during a Minecraft stream, so Lord knows how many, younger, audience members heard it. And it's getting to no surprise that Twitch isn't saying anything nor doing any punishment because, throughout this year, we're just seeing it more and more where there's favoritism, and Twitch is just preferring to say nothing than say something or do anything. So
yeah,
it's not looking
very
good
much
for
like
them.
You might be racist or sexist, but you're making us a lot of money, so we'll let it slide for now.
Yeah. So it's not good. It's not good, especially if Mixer's out here trying to do the big moves. So, but it's bad either way. You've got an audience. You've got a young audience. Like, just fucking grow up.
Yeah, Dreamo, what do you reckon? Like, I know, and most of our listeners know your stance on streamers for the most part. So go at it. On guard.
Oh my God. You're just like holding a raw bit of meat, just like throwing it for me. No, I mean, like, who gives a fuck? Who cares?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's if you really want to hear my thoughts, see episodes 1 to 150 of the Hungry Gamers on Twitch streamers. This is just, does anyone even care? Does anyone actually even care? Like, that's kind of what it boils down to. Do we really care? Or is it just outrage? Or is this, like, is some random... I just looked at his thing. He has 34,000 people. At the time of recording, 34,000 people watching him. Clearly, no one gives a fuck. So... if Twitch are going to let us slide and like, what? Because what are we going to do? We're going to wrap him over the knuckles for a week and then forget. That's all that happens here, ever, with this stuff.
Yeah.
Insert like, I don't follow any of these fucking people. For all I know, this is the same person we've talked about fucking last 50 weeks. Every time this story and this headline comes up, Tfue or Dr. Disrespect or whoever the hell it is. Like, who gives a shit? They're all pieces of shit. Everyone knows that. You know, I feel like you're either cool with that or you're not, you know? And if you're not, don't watch. And if you are, then cool, bro, you know?
Yeah. It's a good way to look at it. Like, sort of, as Ali said, because it was a Minecraft stream, like, yeah, I think the audience might have been a little different because obviously Minecraft is targeted at a younger audience. So that ain't cool, man. Like,
yeah, but I watched Pulp Fiction when I was 10, dude. You know what I mean? What? I watched Pulp Fiction when I was 10, you know? Like, who cares? Yeah, it's kids, but it's like, it's gonna happen at some point in their life. It happens to every kid at a way too young age. And like Twitch, I don't go to Twitch for my moral guidelines. I don't go there for my, you know,
a lot of kids do.
These people aren't the paragons of virtue, you know. So why are we trying to
kids idolize these streamers? You know that,
huh?
Like yeah, you watch Pulp Fiction at 10, but you weren't there going, like, you didn't have posters of Samuel L. Jackson on your walls going, I want to be you one day.
Yeah, you didn't
like,
you didn't grab a needle and stick it in someone's chest to revive them, you know.
Yeah. No,
but you're more than welcome to dance.
You're
welcome to dance with no shoes on.
Yeah. I actually like the more I think about this, I just think I'm not saying it's wrong. It's not wrong. I'm just saying that what do we really expect of these people? Like, what do we expect of any 21-year-old? You know, I expect them to fuck up. They fuck up. They say dumb things. I said dumb things when I was 21. I just didn't have a camera and 50,000 people watching me. I'm not shocked that a 21-year-old put his foot in his mouth. You know, and
yeah,
probably
but like, third time
running,
and he's got like, obviously he's got people behind him that coach him about these things.
Does
like,
he?
When you're making that amount of money and you've got
coaching.
Yeah. There's like social media coaching. There's people that handle the marketing or the branding.
Alan Jones just got sacked from the radio after a historic career for saying that Jacinta Ardern someone should put a sock down her throat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's been a boiling pot since he's had a microphone in his mouth. But this guy's been known for playing Fortnite really good. But yeah, obviously he says some real dumb shit, but that's not what he's known for. Like, that was Alan Jones's brand. You know, that was his brand to be prickly.
That's the same game. I don't think they're different. Sorry, I don't think those two things are different at all. You're in the same space. You're in live. You're live and you're entertaining, and you think about your personal brand. This guy probably thinks about it as much as anyone else, and so you're gonna say some shit that, you know, you think is gonna be funny or shocking, and then, you know, if you're live for 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, eventually you're gonna fuck up. It's just it's gonna happen, you know.
Here's the thing. I'm going to actually slightly agree with Sam.
Slightly.
In the sense that...
it can never be 100% agreement.
Never 100%. Sam, if I 100% agree with you, the fucking world would freeze over. But he's right. These guys are young, and yeah, young people make mistakes. We've talked about how young people now have access to their phone cameras and they're doing some pretty screwed up shit, and it's out there, and unfortunately for them, it stays out there. We all made mistakes, but luckily a lot of it didn't get broadcast, but that's the environment now. The main thing about this story is about, I guess, more about Twitch and them having a platform and being responsible with that platform. So if they're saying that young kids can watch their stuff and then they proceed to endorse this kind of, I guess it would be like rating system. It'd be like TV. It'd be like that sort of stuff, holding to the same standard of you either have some rules and you follow by them or you don't.
Well, you know, like you jump on some streamers, it's like this stream is intended for mature audiences. I don't think he's got that disclaimer on there at all.
Yeah. So, well, there you go. So I think it's, although it's bad that the streamers do these terrible things, and yeah, it's bad, but I think the main note here is that Twitch is a platform and it might have to start having someone else look at them.
But it's just... and
how they're running the platform. That's all.
There's no one in the world who's going to become Amazon's watchdog. Ever. Right? So that's never happening. And also, it's not about the children. It's about the injustice. Right? Am I getting that right at least? Like that's the pain point here, is that someone did something wrong and didn't get scolded.
Yeah, like, well, they've done, like, based off those terms of service, this is the third strike, so they should be gone for good. But yeah, like, they might get a couple week ban, then they'll be back bigger, badder, better than ever. And yeah, because of the status and the size of that account, as Ali said, like, he could be the new ninja because he is a Fortnite savant. He's got a huge following, and people still love Fortnite, so they obviously try and flock to the next big hotness on that platform. And when he's out here dropping slurs, just breaching terms, it's tone deaf on Twitch's part.
And that's the biggest. Can I just say the biggest thing for me out of this whole story is that neither of you have talked about the real culprit here, Fortnite. Fucking Fortnite. No one's talked about Fortnite once. The most evil game ever to be created. And here we are pointing fingers at racist little white dudes. It's Fortnite that we should be looking at. It's Epic. We should be talking to Epic about this.
Fortnite is the problem.
Let's
Twitch,
just put our
Epic.
hands in together and agree that Fortnite is the issue.
Yeah. My hands in.
My hands in.
Mine's it.
Go team.
Yeah.
That was a great little 3-2-1.
Fortnite, you're the devil. All right, so the last bit of news, and we're sort of going to do a little bit of a bullet-pointed recap on the latest Nintendo Direct that ran this past week. Some big announcements were made, and I think the biggest one, at least from my opinion, is the Super Nintendo games are finally coming to Switch. We've got a heap of sort of the usual suspects. We've got Star Fox, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. And then we've got sort of F-Zero, a bit of Kirby on there. Super Metroid, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Zelda A Link to the Past is on there, which is pretty exciting. You can buy yourself a SNES controller for $30 each. And this is available for Switch Online members only. So there is the carrot that you need to get your hands on to be able to play these games. Get on their online service. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to actually play some OG Mario Kart. The rest of them, not so much, but Mario
Yoshi's
Kart
Island
certainly makes me go, oh, hello. Yeah, I loved Yoshi's Island too, but
that was great.
Maybe my time is done with Yoshi, but can I try and pwn guys in in some 16-bit hotness? Yeah, let's get it. I'm excited for some Mario Kart.
I'm never playing Mario Kart against you ever. It's just a pointless task. And I have never played a Metroid game, so I'm wondering if I should just make that my first Metroid game.
Hell yeah.
Really?
Hell yeah. Extremely underrated. Well, not really underrated. It's been praised pretty highly, so I redact that statement.
Very quickly.
But yeah, get on that. Get on your Switch Online membership. What does it translate to? I think it's $80 for the year, still something like that. Is that right, Ali? About there?
It is in Australian, because I can tell you in American 12 months is about like $30. So probably in Australian.
So
it
in
might be
Australia,
about
it's probably 90 with the conversions these days.
And you're first born, or
yeah,
prick of your finger and some blood.
Yeah, I luckily got mine for free through Twitch Prime, so I've got a 12-month subscription that I still have not touched, but it's there for downloading some SNES action now. The next bit of news, Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury is coming to Smash Ultimate, and even more DLC characters are on the way. And also, sort of sneak it in the back door, Banjo and Kazooie is now available to play in the game.
Apparently, the internet was in an uproar because all the younglings didn't know who the fuck Terry was and didn't care for him. So
get good.
They said, I saw an article saying children in Japan thought it was a muscly Pokemon catcher.
We know there's no muscly Pokemon catchers outside of like the martial arts dudes. The rest of them are all just little gangly runs.
For a bunch of people that walk around a lot, you'd think there'd be a little bit of buffness, but
no.
Yeah, maybe they've got really strong calves.
Oh yeah, nice pins.
Yeah, Terry Bogard, he always reminded me of just Ken Masters with a hat on.
Yeah, same.
That's who I always thought it was. It's just Ken with a hat.
Who just couldn't Hadouken.
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sort of jumping ahead a little bit, but I think one of the next characters on the way is going to be someone from Overwatch, because it is officially coming to the Nintendo Switch on October 15th. At this stage, it is unlikely to have cross-platform functionalities and also cross-save support, but that's still pretty exciting, and that's a pretty big win for Nintendo to get Overwatch on their platform.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how it plays. I have fallen off the Overwatch wagon, but the idea of having it just available like, you know, picking it up, maybe doing a few rounds, like you're just sitting around kind of thing. Like, that's actually quite appealing. So it'd be interesting to see how it translates to the Switch.
Yeah, like they reckon docked it's running at 900 like 900p and 30 frames, and then undocked it's 720p 30 frames. So it's still not bad, especially for a smaller screen on the go. And from what I've heard from some of the initial hands-on is that it still runs smooth, still looks good, still plays well. But I'm just wondering what kind of player base they'll establish on the Switch. Like, that game is so dug in on PC and the mainline consoles. But yeah, bring out some cross sort of save or some cross platform, and I think it could do well on the Switch.
I think all the Splatoon people will probably come over to Overwatch, I think.
Yeah, because all the seasons are all done now.
So
yeah,
maybe
it's exciting though.
Void.
It's cool to see, but yeah, I reckon maybe Tracer, next character on Smash Ultimate.
Fucking hate Tracer.
Yeah. Because she'd be just bloody blinking all over the place, just quick as a whip. She's got a little pistols. You know, can do maybe a little melee kick in there too. I think she could translate.
Cavalry's here. Fuck, no.
The next little banger, Assassin's Creed Rebel Collection, will be available December 6th, and it'll contain ports of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Rogue. I never played Rogue, but I love me some Black Flag. It's one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games in the franchise. Who doesn't want that pirate life with some assassin love thrown in there too? So that is exciting. I don't know the price of this Rebel Collection yet. Knowing Nintendo, it's probably going to be $100, and $100 for the next 12 years. But it's still well worth picking up, because Assassin's Creed is just a great franchise.
Yeah, Black Flag was it was pretty fun. I don't think I finished it.
Oh, you need to. You need to.
I think I finished it.
Stop killing whales and sharks out in the sea, and get that mainline story done.
I don't even know. I hated being out in the ocean because I think I was very uncoordinated when it came to maneuvering the ship. So I tried to avoid going out to sea, which probably doesn't work in a pirate-based game now, come to think of it. So
yeah,
I see where I went wrong.
Yes. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is coming in 2020. And the last one I want to highlight, there's obviously still several more hit points that we could talk about, but Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast will be available for Nintendo Switch on September 24th. Very, very underrated little gem. Anyone that hasn't played it, this would be a nice little sort of launch pad to get a little Star Wars fix on the Switch. Excuse me, just burping on the pod, but that's how we do here. Dreamo, is there anything else you wanted to sort of talk about regarding the Nintendo Direct? Or Miss Ali Hart, you got anything else you want to bring to the table before we close this sucker down?
I definitely think the Star Wars game was a blindside. Wasn't expecting that. I wasn't too happy with the Animal Crossing, just pretty much dick tease at the end, just going on and on and on about how great this game's going to be, and just like, yeah, it's still not coming out till next year though.
Yeah, like they are just sort of teasing all you. Like, I don't really have skin in the game on Animal Crossing. Maybe I will when this one drops on the Switch, but I know devout fans and followers like yourself, this hurts. This hurts to see it constantly just sort of dangled in front of you.
Yeah, it's definitely drawing it out. The other thing that actually came out of the Nintendo Direct that I might actually take up on might actually be Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh, yeah.
They've announced that that's going to be available on the Switch, and that they will do the cross-save from Steam to your Nintendo, so, and multiplayer. So I might actually finally get it. Don't tell NATO.
I've got it on the PC. Have not even booted it up once, but I've got it. Yeah. It just from discussions with NATO, it's a hell of an investment, and that just scared me a little bit.
Yeah, same. But it looks like it works for the Switch, so I might actually finally take it and play it.
Dreamo, you gonna pick up a Switch so you can play some Jedi Outcast 2?
No. I'm just gonna play Jedi Outcast 2 on my my good old fashioned PC. No, it's weird. You're right. It is weird that it's ported to the Switch. Of all the games out there,
yeah, like 17 years later, they just go, you know what? Let's chuck this on the Switch. Like, righto.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to read more about what's going on there, but yeah, it's cool. It's a good game. It's a fantastic game. The multiplayer in that game is brilliant.
Yeah, the lightsaber battles are bonkers.
Yeah. Mm.
But yeah, Nintendo just chipping away, surprising us with some announcements and releases. Updating that ever-growing Smash Bros. Ultimate roster with Ken with hat or buff Pokemon trainer, depending on the region you're from. So good luck to you, Terry. Maybe they're going to bring Hagar in. You know, the big muscly mare from like Final Fight or something like that. Maybe he'll come in next. Who knows?
Mm.
He looks like muscly J. Jonah Jameson. That's probably what they'll call him. Well, that didn't land.
Wait, what did you want from me, mate? What did you want from me there?
Give me something instead of flexing and showing me your nipples.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you paused for your own applause breaks now.
Sometimes. I need that pick-me-up sometimes.
Sorry, dude. You know you should
podcasting for you very thankless industry.
You should cut a laugh track in there.
Talking to no one sometimes.
You should cut a laugh track in there.
Yeah.
Just press a button.
Yeah. All right. So this has been episode 165 of the Hungry Gamers podcast. Thank you all for stopping on by, listening to doing what we do here at the Hungry HQ. We'll be back next week for episode 166. Is there anything you guys want to say before we close this down for another week?
Yeah, something's been bothering me. Is it Manna or Marna?
I say Marna.
I say Marna.
I've been saying Manna this entire time.
I think, I think it's like acceptable to say Manna.
Yeah.
Like I've heard other people.
Maybe it's going to be like one of those things. I'm going to be finding out I've been saying it wrong my entire life. I've been making a fool out of myself. I don't know. Maybe the audience can let me know.
Am I a fool? Title. Is it pronounced Manna or Marna?
That's going to be great to read too. How are you going to spell that?
Yeah. This is going to be the next controversy after GIF and GIF.
Oh, God.
Team GIF with a G, son. Anyway, this is episode 165 of The Hungry Gamers. Signing off. Until next week, 8-Bit Nation. Much love.
Stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.